Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Vampire the Requiem. Requiem for London. This evening's scene will take place in a disused car park located within Ordo territory in the city of London. Alexander Hartwell waits on the topmost floor. As a matter of fact, he'll wait on the skyward floor in case he has to make a quick escape for Natalia Belenko to join him, as he has made arrangements to help her with a certain problem this evening.
Yeah. Natalia is going to arrive a bit before. What she is going to do is just have a look around. She is using Obfuscate, and it's just she's not happy with this car park choice. Let's just say it. Maybe it's the ambience, or maybe it's the fact that he quite pointedly told her, like, you're being hunted. So that put her on edge. So she's looking, but she doesn't find anyone. Like, there's no ambush or anything. So that almost makes her a little bit more suspicious, but maybe also a little bit more relaxed. But, about 2 or 3 minutes before they're supposed to meet, Natalia will just pop up behind one of the cars, and she'll just say, "Good evening."
I will say it's a disused car park, so there won't be any cars, but you can pop out from behind a pillar or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Alexander doesn't appear to be at all phased by somebody popping into existence, as you see him withdraw a cigarette from the inner folds of his robe or his coat. He lights it with an electric spark lighter, and he takes a deep drag of it before he'll say, "You must forgive me for the choice of locale. Unfortunately, 2 nights ago, the Lankea decided to ransack my laboratory. That was where I would have preferred to perform this little exercise, but I only just managed to escape with my life, so currently I'm in the process of moving my facilities."
Fuck, are you okay?
This is the nature of those who don't fully understand what it is they're trifling with. They destroyed my research, but I'm physically all right.
Oh, hey, I mean, if I can... And she looks at you, kind of just slows on the delivery of help in any way. I'm fresh out of supplies for a laboratory, but I mean, maybe.
I have alternate lab space. It's not necessarily an issue. However,
maybe for security.
Perhaps. He turns and he says, "So, what I'm going to tell you right now is this is not going to be a pleasant process. I am going to have to poke around pretty deep inside your head. I will see things that you probably do not want other people to see. You have my word, however, for my professional conduct. I don't reveal these secrets mostly because, well, as noted, you're paying me, so I consider you to be my client."
Oh, that's good. And I thank you for the courtesy. I honestly didn't expect that. But, thanks. I mean, consent and, being somewhat open is not something I'm used to from our kind, really. That's the reason I got into this whole shit. So, I have to... Oh, by the way, and she digs around in her computer bag that she has over her shoulder, and she will pull out a wad of cash.
He nods. You'll see him very quickly count it, like, before he nods, and he places it inside his coat. He'll say, "That's acceptable. At the end of the day, Miss Belenko, as I said, I am a professional. So, I act
like
in a professional
that.
manner."
I like that. So, yeah, I wasn't really privy to whatever the fuck happened when this was first done to me, but how are we going to do this?
All right. He turns and he basically he points for her to sit down on the lip of the car park. So basically, we're on the top floor where it's open topped. So he kind of preferred to sit on the lip
Mm. She sits there. She tries to get comfortable, but she's tense as well. You can tell.
All right. So, as I said, I'm going to let you know when I'm going to begin. At which point, this should be relatively instantaneous from your perspective. From my perspective, some time will pass as I sift through. I will be looking and I will see items in your past, but as I mentioned, I believe in my client's confidentiality. So, are you sorry about that? My internet had a moment.
It happens.
But what part of my speech did you get to?
Are you ready? Or are you? I think it was that there.
Okay. He goes, "For you, no time will pass. For me, well, an amount of time will pass. So, are you ready?"
She takes a deep breath, even though she doesn't have to, and she just says, "Okay, okay. Yeah, there's not really. I mean, whatever you're going to see in there is going to be embarrassing, but as a matter of fact, I don't have anything to hide, honestly. Not from you, at least. So, hit me."
All right. He looks deeply into her eyes. This has already been pre-rolled. So essentially, Natalia, you'll see him. Do you possess? Because you are a maquette, aren't you?
Yes.
Do you have Auspex?
Yes.
You might feel something. Bishop's been unclear about. Per the rules, you don't, but I think he said that you might. But that's something to ask him. So Hartwell stares for between 2 to 3 seconds at you before he blinks. So relevant pieces of information he's going to take out of your brain that you can remember. So who was your sire from your perspective?
She knows that it was oh fuck, what was his name? My sire's name. God damn it. Why does it fucking say that? Sebastian. He was the notary of the Invictus. one of the notaries, now deceased. And yeah, she hated him quite a bit. He stood for pretty much everything she hates. And he embraced her because she wanted to possess her, because he believed in his mind that she was essentially his wife, his mortal wife, that passed away before he was embraced himself. But Natalia was almost a dead ringer, like almost. God damn it. Is it Streamlabs or StreamYard that's just fucky, or what?
Yeah, it's just StreamYard being fucky. I'm not a huge fan of the service, but
I've noticed. Where did I get to for you?
I pretty much got right up to the end of your statement. So, where you were talking about why they embraced you, they were a notary, etc.
Yeah,
ECT,
and
ECT.
yeah, he was probably mentally checked out in the sense that he thought that it was his wife. So yeah, she was not. It was forced on her very, very much, and she has some very vivid remembrance of them fighting and her trying to get away. It was not happy at all.
Okay, why did she kill him?
Here's the thing: she killed him because she was told to kill him, and
Ooh.
there is. I mean, I don't know what Bishop has told you, but she killed him. Not that she didn't want to. That's the thing. She actually wanted him to die, but she didn't want to necessarily do it herself because she knew how dangerous it would be. But in the situation, it's a clear indication that it was some use of some power that just said, like, she had no choice. She had to do it.
Does Natalia remember that feeling, basically? Because I can tell your feelings. So has there been any supernatural was that has put forward the you cannot remember feeling like you were compelled?
See, that's a good question. I think there is, but I mean, with the
Okay.
I think it's up to Chris to say, because I might be wrong, but I'm quite sure I can remember being compelled, like knowing that this was done to me.
Do you know who compelled you to kill him?
Yes. I cannot remember her name, but she is a big shot within the Invictus.
Cool. I'll get Chris to give me her name. Because if you know it, I can basically pluck that. All right. That's cool and neat. The other things that he's interested in. Why did the Carthians take you in?
The Carthians took her in. Well, what you can tell is that Natalia went to their territory and more or less just got busted, entering pretty much like the same night. And she told them everything she could remember. Not only did she tell them that she just killed her sire, who was a notary, which is kind of a boon for them since they're in direct conflict, but she also said that they shouldn't trust her because she knows that she could be controlled by someone. So she pretty much told them everything, and then the Carthians confirmed it.
And like, what has she been doing since then?
She's been keeping low. There is definitely some feelings, deep feelings, and concern for another woman. She's been tending to someone, a former ghoul. She's tending to, she was blood bonded by her sire in an attempt to control her. But when the sire died, that blood bond was broken, and the ghoul, or former ghoul now, is not doing well.
As in is sick, or as in is like having withdrawals?
having withdrawals. She spent quite a lot of time on that.
Okay.
She's also been performing, singing some like awful punk rock, like fairly hard, fairly screamy music, but she looks the part, let's say.
Cool. Is there anything else of big note or interest that you feel would jump out at him when he's looking through there?
She's preparing something.
Ooh,
There's
what's
a
that?
lot of it's a jumbled mess. Honestly, I mean, how much does your guy know about computers?
Not a terrific amount, but he's more so interested in what you're preparing, like in terms of.
She's preparing
He
multiple
would.
things. You get the sense of uh, computer programs like sniffers and certain spikes for like essentially hacking. And there's a lot of thoughts about how to design certain things, but it's not totally structured. It's a bit jumbled. She seems to be she seems to be doing the whole chaos that she just makes somewhat ordered and just have this maelstrom of ideas.
All right. So Alexander disconnects from your mind's eye. After, as I said, about less than 10 seconds of effort, before he'll say, "All right, I have some information for you, but I'll be honest. I was unable to overcome the mental blockade that has been put on your mind by whoever it has dominated you. But there are some interesting facts that I have been able to decode."
So
You're missing.
you can verify my
Hmm?
story.
Yeah. Insofar as it's the story that you remember, yes.
Well, I mean, someone that's fucked with my mind. Like,
Oh, undoubtedly. And somebody's very good at it. Somebody was able to outdo me, and I'm very good at finding things when it is people want them not to be found.
yeah, that's what I'm worrying about. Yeah, fuck. Oh well. Sorry,
It,
I
it's actually
interrupted.
it's actually slightly more worrisome than you think.
Trust me, I've spent the last 2 months, more than that, worrying. I'm very used to the concept.
Well, let me phrase it like this. So, ordinarily, in terms of people like you, there might be blackout points, aka points that are inaccessible due to being buried, right? They might be inaccessible points of between an hour, maybe a night. You've got one that's about a week long.
She kind of just face palms for a minute. Ah, fucking bitch. Oh well, that's bad.
The only thing I can think of is that you were coached or planned to go through a set or series of actions that would
Well, that's
take
what happened.
roughly that time to train you for. Hmm?
Yeah, that is pretty much what happened, as far as I remember.
He
There was a
shrugs.
there was a code word, and I clicked the off or on or whatever.
Hmm. Well, needless to say, that's been what I've been able to ascertain directly right now. Hmm.
Anything else you saw in there?
So, Do you have any idea what it is that they could have been, training you for lack of a better phrase?
Wasting my sire? Well, I'm sorry, killing my sire.
I don't believe it's happened yet.
Wait, what?
I don't believe what they've trained you for has happened yet. If it had, that command would have triggered, and the buried memories may become more accessible.
Fuck.
Perhaps something to do with the fact that you're thinking about taking down the Invictus's, internet, or their odd little social media platform that they're working with at the moment.
You actually, come to think of it, you would probably also. I'm sorry. I'm just remembering this now. You would probably also see that some of the things she's thinking about is related to the shard.
Oh.
Sorry.
He says, let's put it like, okay, he'll rephrase what he'll say. He'll say,
Yeah.
let's put it like this. If someone wanted to kibosh very badly the infiltration of a certain facility within the city, that would be an excellent way to have a mole that no one could even tell was a mole.
Fuck.
Certain elders in this city, Miss Belenko, are very good at playing the very long con.
But how do you, I mean, they already had a plan and they already killed the person, a notary of the Invictus, through this plan. But you're saying it's still not gone? You still, the command is still there, or just waiting,
I believe
or
so.
fuck?
Not only that, but not only is it a command, it's a series. It was a long-term ingrained thing. I think that you have a series of actions that you will do when it is that this is triggered. But then again, that's just my opinion.
Hmm. Well, there's a way to fix that and still have my work be good. She smiles a little.
Ironically, though, do you want my advice, Miss Belenko?
I think I can guess, and I think I agree with you. Don't involve myself in it directly.
I beg your pardon?
Don't involve myself with anything directly that I could turn on everyone around me. Where I could get triggered and.
I'll be honest with you. And once again, you can take my word as, not tainted, because that's not necessarily true, but bias. Currently, the Carthians are winning the war here. But I have an idea what the Invictus has got cooked up, and needless to say, it's individuals like me who are cooking it up, even now. It won't be long before what we've got planned comes to fruition. In the end, there's a reason why the Invictus are called the Unconquered, because they don't lose. So, you have a piece of information, Miss Natalia Blanco, that's of suitable value. Valuable enough to get the Blood Hunt called off you. Valuable enough to maybe not reinstate you into the Invictus if you don't want to, but valuable enough so that you can have a happy life or a happy on life with probably a handful of perks. It's not my information to sell, but I can broker a meeting. You tell the prince when it is, or you tell the prince's agents when it is that the Carthians are going into the Shard. The Blood Hunt's off. You get to live a life. Because I assure you, Miss Belenko, they're not going to lose this war.
Have I ever told you how much I hate these fucking bullshit politics?
He shrugs. At the end of the day, I actually like you, kid. And I think that you have a potential for a future. The Carthian movement has been as badly infiltrated by my mortal enemy as I say they have. As a matter of fact, here. He looks you in the eye. I'm going to spend a blood point. So, Peter, what he does is he shows you, and you can watch the end of the scene. He shows you what the Strix have done to the sewers underneath Carthian territory. And the dozens of people, the dozens of revenants with the glowing yellow eyes, the images of Grayman talking about how he will rebuild his organization and all that good shit. He basically bumps that into your brain. He shares his memory.
What the fuck are those things? I've heard things like owls and shit, but what are they? It's fucking freaky.
Many people have their theories. Some people say that they're spirits. Some people say they're ghosts. Some people say they're the beast that lurks within us, given physical form without us. I personally ascribe to the last theory, but then again, that's just me. My particular bloodline have been fighting them since the time of Thebes and the pharaohs. He shrugs. But your movement has been corrupted. Deeply. Your own leadership is a pawn of an Invictus magnate who, I'm led to understand, has near godlike levels of power. At the end of the day, as I said, Miss Bolenko, you have a piece of information that will not only save you, because, trust me, I'm not hunting you. I know other people are. That could not only save you, but you could profit from. You don't necessarily owe these people anything.
Well, I say this honestly. Thank you for your professional courtesy. And this is quite shitty because that bitch who did this to me offered me a place in the Invictus, and I said no because honestly I didn't want anything to do with them, and I still don't. But joining a losing side, or even if they win, like a side corrupted by whatever the fuck they are, yeah, no thanks.
Look, ultimately, he taps the side of your head and your temple. The proof that you're innocent is right up there. There are other Maquette in this city. Hell, the prince is a Maquette. It's all a matter of just reading and seeing the fact that you didn't murder your sire.
Hmm.
Do you know why she offered you a place in the Invictus and why it is that she's so antsy to get her hands on you? Because you have proof that she murdered a notary. Admittedly, she used you to do it as a cat's paw. But if you were mentally controlled or manipulated, well, you're not the one who pulled the trigger. You had no mens rea. Somebody else told you to do it. You couldn't say no.
You know what? Screw that bitch. Set up the meeting.
Done.
I'll have
You see him throw he
word.
throws his cigarette stub on the ground and stamps on it.
I might need. She looks at like her smartphone. I might need some time, but yeah, I'll have to think about. But I'll get in contact with you.
I know a guy. He's a Nosferatu. He's a member of the Invictus. He's actually a pretty good guy. He just wants to see the city, not on fire. He's also a member of the Prince's Inner Circle and a member of House Blacktomb. I'll contact him. If you are, as I said, give them the information about the attack on the Shard. Give them the information about what happened to their notary. And I anticipate that you'll actually be rewarded for your activities, not punished. But because, as I said, I'm a professional, I'll feel out the guy first to make sure that that is a possibility. If it's not, I'm not going to have you walk into a suicide trap.
Sounds like my money was well spent. That's really good.
He shrugs. Ultimately, ironically, my particular bloodline are all about order and the restoration of balance. When it is there's too much chaos, one must have order. When it is there's too much order, one must have chaos. So I'm merely doing what it is that is my professional courtesy, I suppose.
Well, at least from my perspective, I appreciate that quite a bit.
In that case, I'll bid you good evening, Miss Belenka.
Same. Good evening.
With that, he will turn and he will walk from the. He will walk away.
And Mentalia will do the same.
So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Vampire the Requiem, a Requiem for London, where a double cross becomes a triple cross.
Dum dum dum.